How does philosophy shape scientific theory? That's what we're going to learn in this brief talk. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Harden and welcome to PSY335 Personality Theories. And as we begin our journey together, I wanted to give you an overview of the first chapter and the big idea that I want to emphasize here is that philosophy guides theory and theory shapes practice. I'll show you what I mean as we move forward, but that's a big thing to understand as we start to interact or engage these secular theories of personality. As we begin, we need to first ask, what is a philosophy? Well, a philosophy is a study of wisdom. Philos means love, Sophie means wisdom, so it's a love of wisdom. And there are subdisciplines in philosophy that are very important and come to bear on what we're working on in this course. The first subdiscipline is called ontology. Ontology studies it's the study of existence or being. From our perspective, it talks about what the nature of human beings are, for instance, or our existing here in the world. So that's what ontology does. Epistemology is the study of knowledge, or how we know what we know. Part of epistemology is also the understanding of what the nature of truth is and the pursuit of truth. And the third subdiscipline is ethics. This is morality. This is the study of right and wrong. And all of these subdisciplines feed into this love of wisdom, or the study we call philosophy, that gives shape to our theories. So now let's look at what a theory is, especially a scientific theory. A scientific theory is a set of assumptions or ideas that are grouped together in such a way where a person, the theorist, can develop research questions, or what's called a hypothesis or hypotheses, and then test those hypotheses through research and either falsify or confirm those hypotheses, which then results in data for interpretation. So this is how theory typically works. You have a theory, which is a set of assumptions that you want to employ by using the scientific method. You generate a hypothesis, which is a prediction of an observable outcome. You conduct the research to see if that happens, if the outcome occurs. This gives you data. And then from that data, you have to interpret it. So your underlying theory, though, helps you give meaning to the data or interpret it, which then reshapes the theory, which can generate further hypotheses, further research, further data, so on and so forth. So we have this wonderful little circle of research that occurs. Now, where many textbooks, so on and so forth, miss the boat is they don't think through what kinds of questions we ask in the first place. In other words, where do the ideas and concepts of the theory originate? And this is where philosophy comes in. Because our philosophy, our understanding of what it means to be a human being, and right from wrong, and the nature of truth, and all of those kind of things, and how we know what we know, and our perspective on the universe, and all those things, actually are presuppositions. They're things we suppose beforehand that feed into our theory. Now the thing is, though, we bring those, we're often unaware of them. So we bring those to bear in generating the theory. We do our research, and then what ends up happening is our research then reshapes our presuppositions. So what ends up happening is there is this conflation of one's philosophy with one's theory. This is how, when you listen to someone who holds to a naturalistic worldview, an evolutionary mindset, for instance, it's really more than a theory. It's a deep-seated view of the world. It's a philosophy or even a dogmatic religion in some cases. And the individual is blissfully unaware that he or she holds that view. So as we move forward in examining these personality theories, we have to be very specific in evaluating as well the philosophy that undergirds the theory, which generates the hypotheses, which results in research, which can then produce data that is further interpreted. And we have to be aware of that. So we have to allow that to help shape how we even ask the certain questions we ask, or how we interpret the questions that the answers we receive from the questions. What you'll see often as we move through this course is we're seeing the same data as far as the theory, hypothesis, research, and research data goes. We're seeing the same data. But because of our Christian philosophical assumptions, we can draw remarkably different conclusions about the nature of human beings, truth, right from wrong. So I hope that this is helpful. As we move forward, I want you to take the understanding we have, and I want to bring into the equation a gentleman by the name of Francis Schaeffer. Francis Schaeffer wrote a book. He wrote 22 books, but he was a Presbyterian minister and philosopher, and he wrote a book called Death in the City. And there's a chapter in that book that I've attached to this assignment, called The Universe with Two Chairs. And in it, Schaeffer draws the distinction between looking at things Christianly and looking at things only scientifically. What I want you to do is I want you to reflect on the first chapter of the personality textbook. I want you to reflect on the earlier part of this lecture. And then I want you to read this chapter, The Universe with Two Chairs. And what I want you to do is I want you to write a 500-word response or so that shows or that demonstrates the limitation of the scientific method. Help me understand why it would make a difference to think Christianly about scientific theories. Remember, we're not trying to throw out scientific theories. They can be a very helpful tool in us understanding reality. But is that all there is? So give me a 500-word essay, load it into the course management system. You don't have to write it in a Word document, by the way. Just put it in just like you would do a discussion forum. And let's look at that. So if you have any questions, let me know. God bless, and we'll talk again soon.